Hey, plumbing bros. Welcome to Potty Talk Live, where we take it into the trenches, the crawl spaces, the basements, kitchens, and baths, all around this world of ours to talk to plumbing professionals just like you. Hey, I'm Richard Behney, the $1 Million Plumber, coming at you live from Command Central here in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. And it is a beautiful day, and I'm feeling good. How about you? You having a great day? Oh, are you? Hey, if you're having a great day, why don't you type something in the comments there, you know? Give me some thumbs up or something, all right? But I'm feeling good. Oh, sweetheart. Hey, the lovely Laura's in the house today. You know, I'm having such a good day, having such a fun time. I forgot to get my tee shot. Ooh. Yeah, ooh is right. Nice. Forgot to get my tee shot. You guys know what that is? No, you don't know what it is? My tee shot? Testosterone. Testosterone. There we go. All right. It's what makes me a guy. What makes you a guy too, man? Hey, it happens. Hey, if you happen to feel, it can happen even to you younger guys, okay? It happens without you even knowing it. But, man, it was a time I was feeling sluggish. You know, I couldn't think, you know. I was working out hard, but I just couldn't, I couldn't put the weight on. I wasn't seeing any kind of shape. And talked to an bodybuilder guy. You know, a guy was like 65. You remember him, sweetheart? You remember? Man, looking good, 65 and looking good. And was telling him my story. You know, I was feeling like I was going to lactate any day, you know. Can I say that on Potty Talk Live? Can we say that? But he said, hey, what your problem is tea. And I said, what's tea? And before he got done, before he even finished what he was saying, the lovely Laura over here signed me up at the doctor's office or at the T center, and it changed my life. But I forgot to go today. I got to go in and get my shot. All right. So, hey, there we go. Enough. See, I was transparent. I'm just getting my guest all ready to be transparent. All right. So you be transparent too. So there we go. We're brothers, right? Right? Okay. Hey, I got a tee shot for you. Hey, if you're a young gun, you know, you're a guy, even if you're not a young gun, but you're a gun that has a plumbing license, all right? You got your plumbing license, you got your plumbing truck and a plumbing dream, all right? I got a tee shot for you, all right? And it's free, a free shot of tea for you. It's my 7 must-knows to be $1 million plumber, all right? These are 7 things you got to know if you want to be successful. You want to be $1 million plumber too. You know, it's no longer just a matter of skill and will. It just don't work out that way. You got to know these 7 things. Or quite frankly, you're going to fail. You know, you're going to be lactating. All right, can I say that? Okay. All right, hey, but it's free. Just simply type free in the comments, FREE, and I'll get that report right out to you. All right, type free in the comments. The 7 must-knows to be $1 million plumber. Hey, let's get our guest on here. We have Mr. Tom Moreno, owner of All the Time Plumbing out of Houston, the Republic of Texas, USA. All right. Hey, let's give Tom some thumbs up. Hey, Tom, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Hey, question for you. Are you ready to rock Potty Talk Live?
Of course. Talk about nipples leaking.
All right, man. Hey, great logo and great plumbing name there, man. Looking sharp.
I wanted to make sure that they knew the days we were open, the times that we're open, and it's all the time.
You make it pretty clear there, brother, which is good. Hey, Tom's already dropped us there, a huge nugget of gold. You got to be straightforward with your customers. You know, the customers have so many decisions to make. They have so many options, and so hey, I'm gonna give you a shout out there on that logo and all that. Pretty good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Thanks.
Hey, before we get into plumbing, though, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up super poor. I grew up with a single dad, and it was me and my 2 sisters and my dad, and that's it. My dad was a carpet layer, and I always wanted something more than him. I always wanted to be, you always want to be better than your dad. And I was the first person in my family to graduate high school. My first person in my family to go to college. And now I got into plumbing to actually pay my way through college. And now I don't even use my degree. And it's kind of weird the way that works. But, yeah. But
Oh,
now
man.
I started at two of the biggest companies ever in the state of Texas, and I learned a little bit from all three of them, all the plumbing companies I worked at, and knew what not to do. Because every company that I worked at, they didn't have the problems as the old company, but they had their own problems. And so I was trying to eliminate all three of those problems that I saw. So whenever I started my own business, I knew to make sure that I don't have those problems.
Oh, man.
So I started my own business.
So which is so cool, man. I just, guys, first of all, we were talking before in the green room, Tom, before we started here, and Tom asked, are you a plumber? I said, which is a fair question, right? It's a fair question, because now you're just some guy talking, out there, blah blah. But yeah, I've been a plumber for 30 years and did very well. Started my own plumbing companies along here with the lovely Laura, right over here, my wife. She won't come on camera here, but she's the brains of the outfit. And I want to talk about that, Tom. You're doing your business with your wife as well. But with that, you get into it, and, I learned from the other companies just like you, and jumped in the ring and did very well and sold out. And instead of just going to play golf, after we sold and lived the easy life, and we lived the easy life. Oh, we still live the easy life. But we just, yeah, sure. Lovely Laura says, sure. But we just... I love the plumbing trade and just love the plumbing guys, and just you are the reason that I got up this morning. Is the guys that just like that. You come from the other side of the tracks, which a lot of the guys do. Yep, I did. Yep, I certainly did too. Very similar kind of a story. Very similar story. And you make a decision. You either make a decision to have excuses and not do anything. Or you decide to get in the ring. And Tom here, guys, decided to get in the ring, And so, you get hit in the face when you get in the ring, but you also can win, right?
Oh, yes.
That's right. So what was your aha moment that made you, that you decided to go from, working for someone else to, taking your own destiny in your hands?
I almost had a following, almost like a cult following. I moved from a company called MCOR, Gowan Inc. for the local Houston people. And then I went to a John Moore Services and then an Abacus. And I had so many people that called me directly. And I had some older lady call me and say, "Where are you at now?" And she goes, "Wherever you are, I'm going to follow you to the end." And I'm like, wow, I didn't know that I had such loyalty from customers. And at that moment, when I got off the phone with her, I knew that I had to start my own, because I probably had about 80 people just calling me directly and not even wanting to deal with the companies that I was working for. So I reached out to all 80 of them, and I said, "If I go into business myself, would you give me the business?" And they said, "Yes, and I'll give you all my friends' business." And it went from there.
There we go. I got the lovely Laura over here kind of smiling. Man, that is so cool. You know who Tom is, sweetheart? He's our guy that was doing very well for us. We had multiples of these guys that finally went off and did their own thing. Now you'll know about this. I know, Tom, you have an apprentice there right next to you, your guy, but you want to be able to build these guys up, and not all of them, that's the fear with a lot of guys. If I with a lot of owners, if I tell my guys, if I really train them up and teach them about the business and about dealing with customers, and if they get a lot of loyal customers that they're going to leave, most of the time, guys don't usually leave for that. They usually leave because, they're, on the sad part of our trade, there's a lot of just, Joes out there, and, right. So it's just, I kind of lost, but it's, yeah, use my train of thought here. I started thinking about all the guys we had. We had a lot of good guys. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is to you, Tom, and the other owners out there, don't be afraid of good guys, because not everyone's going to take off like you did, so.
Yeah, I try to teach Ray. That's my apprentice right there, Ray.
Hey, brother Ray, we got a hey Ray here also in the broadcast booth. Everyone said hey Ray. All right.
And I try to teach him, and my number one saying to Ray is, "I'm trying to teach you how to fish." So every time that he says, "I don't know how to do that," I said, "You're going to learn how to fish today." And I'm trying to teach him all aspects, because the next thing I always say is, I'm not always going to be there. And we have a guy that works with us, and we both know him pretty well. And it's pretty much, he calls me on almost every call that he goes to. And Ray understands what I'm trying to teach him. I'm trying to teach him that, hey, I mean, inevitably, all of us die. And I won't always be there to hold your hand through a shower valve repair or something. So I try to teach him so much. So.
Oh, brother, man, we could go. Hey, I hope you guys are listening out there. You know, Tom is really throwing some nuggets of gold our way. And, man, there's a lot in there. And, you know, I talk to guys daily about, you know, growing their businesses and that kind of stuff. And you just said a lot that a lot of guys just don't get. You know, so I'm going to go off track here a little bit, but we're going to go down this road. And then lovely Laura's kind of looking at me like, oh, where are you going? You know, so Tom, where did you, you know, you didn't have the best upbringing. You didn't have all the opportunities. You know, you have plenty of excuses. You know, you can have, I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, you could have a lot of excuses. You know, where did you learn that ethic of, you know, I can do it, and then I'm going to teach these guys to fish? That's a key thing, not just, you know, just have them, you know, hand them a pole and tell them to go fish, and you take the fish. You know, where did you learn that?
Well, so I'm from a Jewish upbringing, and my rabbi always taught me that Solomon always said that you would end up ultimately being forgotten. So no matter how much you think that you're immortal, you are not immortal. One day someone will forget you. And I never really knew that. But he said the one way that you become immortal is that you pass on your principles, you pass on your ideas, and you pass over thoughts to younger people. And I took that towards my apprentices. If I can change one apprentice into a good plumber, and he can probably teach two other apprentices to be good plumbers, then that's how I can become immortal.
There we go. I'm loving this. All right, Tom. Hey, we're brothers in more ways than just plumbing, man. All right. Yeah. Way to go, man. Hey, so with your company, what's your expertise?
My expertise is I'm a responsible master plumber with the state of Texas. The number one things that we usually go do is the number one thing, like a claim to fame that I can go and show up other companies, are repair tankless water heaters. Whenever I worked for John Moore in Houston, they sent me to a tankless class, and they said, go learn tanklesses because that's all you're going to be doing for the next 10 years. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Yeah. And so I learned the tankless class, and I went to other tankless classes. And the way that my mind works is that I absolutely have to know everything about it. So if I learn one thing, I have to know everything about it. So I went and looked at a whole bunch of random tankless classes and got taught on them. So we go to a lot of calls, or we go to a lot of referrals that say, hey, you fixed my friend's tankless, and I have a plumber that says that they need to replace it. And I've had all 3 or 4 plumbers say that they need to replace it, and you're the only one that can fix my friend's tankless, so come and fix my tankless. So we pretty much our main expertise is just repairing tankless water heaters.
Oh man, there we go. So what? So as you're focusing on that, and you've made that, I heard so much there, and I hope you guys, watching heard it as well, that he took it upon himself to really go deep. You know, not just even just a broke fix mentality of, okay, I got to work on these things, but I'm going to know these things. I'm going to know it, inside and out. So, what is something, Tom? And by the way, if your viewers are just joining us, we're with Tom Moreno, owner of All the Time Plumbing out of Houston, Texas. And at the moment here, we're talking about his expertise of repairing tankless water heaters. Tom, what is something that that we should know, those of us who don't work on them all the time, but what's a nugget of gold that you could share about what we should know about repairing tankless water heaters that we may not know?
That the technical support, they have a phone number on every side of the tankless, and they will walk you step by step. Do not be afraid of them, because the person on the other phone could be sipping tea next to a pool, and they can give you the entire breakdown on that tankless. A lot of things that we learn from trial and error, talking to somebody And I made a joke with the guy. I said, "You sound like you're by the pool." He goes, "Yes, I'm at the pool with my grandkids." And I thought that was so funny because this guy could tell you part numbers and everything just off the top of his head. And so I usually tell people whenever they look at tankless or want to repair tanklesses, don't be afraid. There's a phone number on the side.
There we go, brother. Hey, guys, I hope you're listening. Tom, you just gave us, some more gold there. That's one of the biggest things we have a tendency to do is first of all, we're plumbers. We got type A personalities, and we like to, pose. I call it posing. We pose a little bit, and so, but we're afraid to come across that we may not know something, and that worked for me. That's one. I was never afraid. I get it. I'm proud. But I'd call the company, I'd call the engineers, and some of them aren't as nice, and they may kind of rake you over the coals, but hey, that's how you learn. Never be afraid to call the number, right?
Right. Never be afraid. They won't judge you.
Yeah. So what, we're going to get, Tom, I was a little transparent. I went some ways. I'm having one of those days here. The lovely Laura's kind of looking at me like I'm all over the place here today. It's just how I am. And, maybe your wife is that way, is even keel. My wife's the even keeled one. With our business, she's the one who really kept things running. I was like all over the place. So I'm having one of those all over the place days. So, and as I started, I kind of went off on this tangent about tea. So she's looking at me, shaking her head, thinking, Anyways, so I'm going to ask you to be a little transparent too, okay? And so my question is, and look, a lot of guys want to know this. What is it in your business? And I'm going to stay on the business side. I know you're plumbing, but what is it in your business, your plumbing business, that you struggle with?
Getting the material costs down. So a lot of suppliers, of course, if you buy more of the item, you get a bigger discount. And sometimes it's harder for a smaller business to compete with the humongous businesses, especially whenever they have their price. Their price will be double your price, and their material is maybe 25% cheaper than what you buy it. And so going to these supply houses and trying to get the material costs down is probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done, because I've actually told somebody on the phone, I just won't shop there again. And they asked me, why won't you shop here anymore? The guy called me 3 months later and said, why don't you come in? I haven't seen you. And I said, you don't give me a discount. You don't give me a price. Everybody else gives me good prices, and everybody else wants my business. You clearly did not want my business. And so sometimes you have to say, yes, that place is only 4 miles down the road, but they don't want my business. They don't appreciate my business. And so you have to say, okay, I have to go to the next one just to make that lesson. And you really don't. Whenever I worked for somebody, I never really thought about that. I went to any supply house. If it's 2 miles down the road, if it was more expensive, I didn't care. It wasn't my money. And that's what my journeyman used to tell me. It's not my money. And I said, now it is my money. I have to think about that. And so the hardest thing was trying to get material costs down.
That is a biggie. Materials obviously are one of our main expenses. And that attitude is very, very prevalent, within our industry with the guys you mentioned. It's not my money. I always call it, the guys who go to the candy store. That's why I always called it the candy store. And they just get whatever they wanted, and we always have to deal with it. As a plumbing, company owner, you're always going to have to deal with that. For 30 years, we've always had to deal with that. But you got to control that cost. And you hit on a key thing that a lot of guys, and maybe it comes out of your, what I hear, you're not afraid, and you can't be afraid to deal with your business. It's your business, it's your baby. So just like with the tankless, hey, if I don't know something, you call the number on the side, and hey, you're going to figure it out. The same with your suppliers. All right, you don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be, what's the line, sweetheart? It ain't personal. From Godfather, it ain't personal. It's business. So I'm not talking about shoot the guy up or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that kind of business. But you can go in there and say, hey, I want to shop with you. I'll grow with you. But you got to help me out on the pricing. And a lot of lot of suppliers will. If you don't ask, they're not going to give it to you. Why, if they can make a little more, make a little more, right?
Correct. And the person that I told them that I just wasn't going to come back, we actually got better pricing from them. And I actually did start giving them business. We've given plenty of business now.
There we go, man, guys. So, so ask for the help in both ways. Ask for the help. All right. So, hey, we'll be back with Mr. Tom Moreno, owner of All the Time Plumbing out of Houston, Texas. Here, we're going to let him catch his breath as he gets ready for the lightning round and give me the opportunity to pay a little bills by thanking our sponsor. All right. So, hey, guys, this has been a great Potty Talk Live. Tom's just throwing down some nuggets of gold here, and that just comes from experience. And, if you're looking, you have two ways to go about it. You can spend the time and the years, all the wasted money and time, figuring your plumbing business out for yourself. And you can do it. It's not rocket science. You put your mind to it, you can figure it out. Or you can, you can be with someone, you can have a coach. All right. You can have a coach. Even Michael Jordan. He was my favorite basketball player. Michael Jordan, MJ. All right. Even he, is arguably, he's probably one of the best basketball players of all time. He had a coach, and I'm not talking about the guy sitting on the sidelines with him or there in the, on the side, on the bench. Yeah, sitting on the bench. I'm not talking about on the bench coach. But he's had a coach, coach is working with him his whole life, and now even in his business life. Well, it works. That's how successful guys even become more successful. All right. And it'll work for you too. I offer private coaching. I have a couple spots available, and we'll love the opportunity to talk to you if that is what you feel would work for you. And that's kind of key there. If you're looking to become a champ, not a chump, but a champ. And I work with champs. So I'd love to have a kind of a 15-minute free consultation with you. And we'll just have a little conversation to see if you're able to take it to the next level. I know I can get you there. It's just a matter of whether you're able to also do it. So just type CHAMP in the comments. That's CHAMP, C-H-A-M-P. And we'll get you set up for your
Richard Behney here.
Free 15-minute consultation with me, the $7 million plumber. But now, let's bring on our guest, Tom Moreno, owner of All the Time Plumbing out of Houston, Texas. Mr. Tom, are you ready for the lightning round?
I was born for it.
You're born. Yeah, you were, brother. Yeah, you were, man. All right, here we go. What was holding you back from starting your plumbing business?
Financial security. I was really scared about putting all the money into the business and then going broke.
Yeah, that's what the lovely Laura over here is laughing. Let me tell you. Hey, and a lot of guys, that's very transparent. I mean, that is the fear. Most guys don't start because they're scared. I know, guys. I'm going to get y'all emailed. I mean, I know you're tatted up, and you got the hat and your pants, and you're cool. I get it. All right, all that kind of thing. But the bottom line is, most guys are scared, and it's for that reason. So, yeah, lovely Laura's also reminding us we did lose everything. We barely survived in 2008. You guys remember the recession? Were you even born then, Tom?
About 10 years earlier.
There we go. All right. So we about died. I mean, we were flying first class. We were on all. Okay, I know I'm rambling on here. Hey, but you may die. I mean, you come close to dying. But I'd much rather die a free man than whatever. All right, here you go. Are you a flat rate guy or a time and material guy, and why?
A flat rate. And the reason why is because most of the companies in Houston are flat rate. And if you bid by flat rate, of course, you make more money. And the reason why is because you can mark up your material, then you have a set price for your hours. So like the bad thing about it is that you give an estimate to somebody and then you go over that allowed hours. So if you bid a job for 4 hours, you tell them 4 hours, the customer becomes kind of disgruntled whenever you take 6 hours and now they owe more money. Mm-hmm. Or the other thing is that now they're watching a clock. Now I have to go get parts. Are you going to charge me for those parts? And so I usually tell them that we're a flat rate because if it takes me 10 minutes or it takes me 10 hours, it's the same price. And I try to ensure people that their time is more important. Because if I was on the hourly, then I would be milking the clock So I've always been flat rate. I've always been taught flat rate all throughout my apprenticeship and everything.
Oh man. Well put, Tom. I mean, I love it. Well put here. Flat rate has been, in our opinion, is the way to go as well. I know a lot of guys, question that, but it really does help the customer. It's really a good thing for the customer, and it allows you to really be in control of your cost and know your cost, and it's a good thing. Quite frankly, the guys that don't go flat rate, are usually the guys that really they don't know their costs. They don't know where things are at. So, all right, man. Hey, share a personal habit that sets your day up for success.
I wake up every morning at 4 a.m. and I go to the gym, and I'm home, showered, and everything before anybody in my family wakes up. And so that gives me time to relax, watch the news. I can do a lot of things before the craziness starts. And so if I don't have that early in the morning, I feel like my day is thrown off.
Oh, man. There we go. Sweetheart, I think I found my long-lost brother. I think, guys, you're hearing all kinds of, it's my brother from another mother, from my Jewish mother, which is a good thing. Man, there's some good stuff there. Hey, Jim, how you doing today, man? Hey, back to you. Yeah, I like Tom. Yep, you got Jim saying I like Tom. I like Tom too, man. And I hope the rest of you guys are listening there, because that is so good. How you set yourself, you're not just rolling into the shop, half dead. Get up, get going. You got your workout routine, get your mind, you get some free time, you can get your mindset. Oh, man. And that's how winning is done right there, man. Doesn't mean you won't get, you don't get hit in the face. Life will hit you in the face. But, that's how winning is done. Man, I love it. Hey, I'll get on with it here. See, outside of a paycheck, Tom, what's the best thing that another plumbing company, that you've worked for has done for you?
They taught me objections. And so I used to work for a plumbing company that has the reputation of the highest, like the most expensive plumbing company. And instead of arguing about price, they always talk to you about objections. And so they taught me how to almost get over a lot of objections from people, like, I need to talk to my wife, or, hey, this is too expensive. And instead of arguing about price or ever talking about price, you talk about value, you talk about their time. And so now with my prices being much lower than that much expensive company, it's so much easier. Like right now, I was making a joke with my apprentice that we almost have 100% close rate. We walked away from one job this month. And the reason why is because I can get over those simple objections with no issue now. And that's not a training that a lot of companies showed you. There's not a lot of things that you can be seen. I usually tell other apprentices to go work at that company so you can learn that, even though every plumber in the city of Houston knows the company that I'm referring to, and they said, well, it's good training. And that's like the number one thing that anybody will say, like, it's so hard to work at a certain company with a burgundy shirts, and it's so hard to work there, but they teach you so much about, like, pretty much avoiding arguments about price, avoiding arguments about, just the randomest things. And so now it just seems so easy. Right.
Man, that is great. For 30 years, I talk to guys, we talk to guys and we hear it all the time, it's the price, everything's so expensive. For 30 years of being in plumbing, guys, it's always been too expensive. You can tell a customer it's $500 and they either curl up in the fetal position and start crying, or they throw up, or they throw something at you. You can tell them it's $50 and they still, curl up in the fetal position, cry, throw up, or, throw something at you. It's just how it is, and no one wakes up in the morning. And I know, sweetheart, I'm going off I can't help it. This is good. Because no one wakes up in the morning and wants to call a plumber. We're not delivering, pizzas or flowers, right? But they called you. They just want it done, And so you can't be scared. That's another sign of being scared, as soon as the customer says no. And you always set yourself up, and you always want to hear one no. To me, no means yes. In the plumbing situation, no means yes.
No means give me some more information and ask me again in 5 minutes.
Right. There we go. That is so good, man. It's so good, brother. Hey, on the flip side of that, what's the worst thing that a company has ever done to you as an employee?
Woo, man.
Yeah.
Well, the worst thing has been done to me as a plumber at a company is that it's back at the Burgundy Shirt place, and they changed their commission rates so much. And so you would normally be going on a 20% commission, and they would have a job, let's say install a toilet. You would get a 20% commission. 3 weeks later, it will be a 12% commission. And they fluctuated through their commission rates so much that you absolutely had no clue what check you were getting. Mm-hmm. And so whenever I first married my wife, she says, I don't know how you even can mentally go to work every day knowing that you don't even know what your paycheck will be, it caused a lot of tension between me and my wife, because you're expecting this much money and then you're getting this much money. And even though that the time frame was, look, I installed this toilet on the 15th and you changed the commission on the 16th, but you get paid on the 21st, but they won't backtrack it. So
no.
I did a $71,000 job.
Sorry about that.
I did a $71,000 job. It took me about a week, and I was supposed to get a 15% commission on this job. And when everything was said and done, they actually only had me down as the referral on it, and I only got 1%. And I was there the entire week, but maybe 70 hours that week. And it caused a real big tension with my wife. My wife was, I think she was like one step out of the way to going back to her mom's house. And so I think that's probably the number one worst thing that, that's been done to me.
Hey, can you relate to that? Can you relate to that, sweetheart? We can. We're over here shaking our heads. Guys, I hope you were listening to that. I normally charge to give out that kind of information, but Tom just gave it to you for free. But it's, guys you don't mess with a guy's pay. You just don't mess with a guy's pay. And that's one of the biggest problems when people say, well, I can't keep guys and, whatever. A lot of times when they're commission-based and that kind of stuff, the pay system isn't clear. And we just we set up our pay structure and commission, and some of the guys did really, we had 6-figure plumbers, and just doing service work 5 days a week, normal 8 hours. Some of them just knocking out of the park. And so, there was a couple times when guys were making more money than me, and I own the company, but you don't mess with a guy's pay. You mess with a dog's bone, he's going to bite, and they will, man. So, hey, Tom, what's a software or tech gadget that helps you run your plumbing business that you would recommend to the other owners?
I use an iPad. I use an iPad for everything that I do, collect my credit cards. I actually do all my invoicing on a PDF that's on an app. And so I downloaded an app, got an IT company to make an invoice. And so I pretty much just work only off of an iPad. And so I can do all the scheduling from a dispatch app, the invoicing from an invoicing app, and then a credit card transaction through another app.
There we go. That looks good. Yeah, I got the lovely Laura's asking a question. What dispatch app do you use, Tom?
Dispatch Me.
Dispatch Me.
Yes.
Would that be dispatchme.com, you think?
Yes, dispatchme.com. And they have a great app. They have a great app, and so we pay about $99 a month, and you can keep up with a total of 12 guys. You can dispatch them straight from the app. They can download the app for free underneath your profile, and they can just get the info directly to their phones.
Man, there we go, guys. that one of the questions, how do I compete with the big companies? Look, consumers, your customers are used to every other aspect of their life, with people working off their, smart devices, and, they're working off their smart devices too. So, I know, if you're an old school guy, and I get it, I was at that age, don't use the excuse, well, I don't know how to do it. That's a poor excuse. You could just, you're just going to die. But, learn to use the equipment. And that's one way that you can compete with the large companies, is by looking like a large company, by doing, having, apps and techie gear like that. All right, man. Great advice there.
We try to offer a big company feel with little company interactions and little company prices. So you're not so much as a number. Of course we have job numbers and stuff, but at least we know you when you call. And so with the iPad, yes, you walk in there the same as the big giant company. You're showing them the same computer that the big company is showing you, but you are giving them a better price. You're taking care of them a little bit better. You're the one that answers the phone and stuff like that. So a big company feel with little company, pretty much little company values almost. You want it a little bit more than they do.
And there we go. And that's our edge, guys. I talk to guys, I hear from guys, I can't compete. Laura, lovely Laura's over here saying, don't do don't mock anyone. I don't mean to mock anyone. I'm not mocking anyone, but I hear, I can't compete with the big guys. They're so big. It's actually easier as a small guy. Doesn't mean that having your own plumbing business is easy, but it is easier, and you can get the customers. It's just, man, that is so cool. Man, all right, man. Hey, it's been great here. I'm getting a signal from the producer saying I'm kind of going over time here. I know I've been talkative. It's my day here, and Tom, you've been a great guest. You've put up with me, but more importantly, you've got you've laid out a ton of gold, lots of nuggets of gold here. And before you go here, I just want to ask you one last question here. Well, what's the best advice that you've ever received that you'd be willing to share, with the guys?
If you don't do it now, you will ultimately regret it later. And what I mean by that is that if you wait too long to start your company, you won't be able to build your retirement. You won't be able to be financially independent. You'll regret it at the end. You'll regret always working for somebody. I bit the bullet at 28. Now I'm 29. And I'm not going to regret anything once I become the retirement age. And so if you don't do it now, you'll regret it later.
No, you won't, man. Great advice there. We've never regretted it. Doesn't say there aren't times that, life goes like this, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's up and down, but you hope that it goes up. As you're going up and down, it's moving up, and you definitely won't regret it. And man, great advice, Tom. Great. It's been great having you on Potty Talk Live. Appreciate your time. A lot of great information, and I hope you had a good time as well.
I did. It was fantastic.
All right, brother. Hey, look forward to speaking with you again. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, there we go. Mr. Tom Moreno, owner of All the Time Plumbing out of Houston, Texas. Man, great guest here. Lots of fun. Hey, if you'd like to be on Potty Talk Live, we'd love to have you on Potty Talk Live too. Everyone has a story. It's just, man, it's so cool to hear his story. And I know that you have a story too. So we'd love to have you on Potty Talk Live. And if you'd like to be on Potty Talk Live, hey, there's only one stipulation, and that's that you must be a plumber. All right. This is a show about plumbing. It's to lift up our plumbing trade, and it's about plumbers. All right. Plumbers all around the world. So that's the only stipulation. You got to be a plumber, but it's not hard to be on. May have to, I think it's a couple weeks out or whatever. But whatever, yeah. But just simply go to www.pottytalklive.com, www.pottytalklive.com, and when you get there, you'll see a button that says something like "Be My Guest." All right, be my guest. Click on that, answer a couple questions, and the producer goes to the producer, and he'll get you on. All right, so it's that easy, and I'd love to. We had a good time, just like Tom. You'll have a great time. Hey, also, if you want to see other Potty Talk Live episodes and hear all kinds of great nuggets of gold, go mining, all right? That's how you succeed. That's how you get wealthy. You build wealth. And how you build wealth in the plumbing industry is, you can mine from others' information. And so we've talked with a lot of great plumbers, and you can check out those episodes on my YouTube channel. Just simply go to YouTube and then type in the search, The $1 Million Plumber, and you'll see my $ icon come up, and you can click on that, and you can see other episodes there. And hey, while you're there, do me a favor, subscribe, please. Please subscribe. We're new with this, and help build that YouTube channel up so that we can get this information out to others just like you who want to succeed. Okay. And also, let me ask you too, since I'm in the asking mode here, if you'll go over to my fan page, The $1 Million Plumber, my Facebook fan page, The $1 Million Plumber, and like my fan page. Okay. We can get the information out there, and there's some information there for you as well. So we can help each other out. So, man, it's been great. Enjoyed this time with Tom. Wasn't Tom a great guest? Man, I love that time. Hey, but as we're wrapping things up, I just want to remind you that you were wonderfully and purposely created to do great things. So you were created to do great things. So when you're out there, remember that, as always, plumb like a champion.